All right, hello wine-drinking people, back with more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and this is a review on our South African tasting we just did at Cafe Maxx, and you know, we try to cover the bases when it comes to the world of wine. We know we're not going to get as big of a turnout for South Africa as we do for California Cabernet, but hey, you know, they're making some great wines in South Africa. Here's a country that's been making wine for 400 years almost, and, you know, today still somewhat misunderstood. The wines of South Africa, more old world than new world, more earthy, more terroir-driven wines. And Natasha from Cape Classics, thank you very much for coming out and helping me host this event. And Mark from South African Airways was there. And, you know, we're going to put together a tour and tasting group to go to South Africa within the next 18 months. And we're going to put it together with South African Airlines and with Natasha, you know, Cape Classics. Andre was one of the pioneers, the owner of this company. And, you know, he really was the first guy to start bringing in these small boutique wines to the United States. And they also have a travel company now. So a perfect complement to your import business. Hey, man, you know where all the great restaurants are, the hotels. And, of course, you've got the winery people to entertain them. So it's going to be a 1-2 knockout punch when we put this together. It's going to sell out in no time. We only want to do 10 couples. So keep an eye open for our South African tour, mate, coming up soon. And the first wine we had is a sparkling wine, which is a Blanc de Blanc. You don't see much sparkling wine from South Africa, but appropriately named the Ring because it was the first wine that the owner, Philip Jonker, ever made, and it was mature for 3 years, and he fell in love, and on his wedding day, he opened this wine up, so appropriately named the Ring. Anyways, this wine's got a nice amount of toasty grain-like notes, kind of Cheerios to the nose, some lemon citrus and green apple, a little light ginger spice, some white flowers, bright and refreshing style of sparkler on the tongue. I like bone dry on the finish. It has some nice fruit and a creamy mousse and a tongue-tingly finish indicating the minerality there. A very good little sparkler for $23 and change. The Bait and Sauvignon Blanc from the Cape of Good Hope. One of the things that they do very well in South Africa is Sauvignon Blanc. It's got a light musky note to that white grapefruit, green melon, gooseberry fruit. A whiff of grassiness here to that bouquet, which is a varietal thing you get from Sauvignon Blanc. I like a little bit of it. It's like briny quality. Fresh and bright on the tongue, echoing that fruit, the gooseberry, lemon, lime, citrus. Touch of grassiness showing on the end, and that salty, minerally note. And this wine gaining complexity on the second day, opening up even more. I had all these wines open on my desk and poured them and saved them for the second day to see how they were going to be in the Sauvignon Blanc. Even better on the second day for $12.10. My pick for greatest Sauvignon value of the year. Very good stuff. The Ken Forster Chenin Blanc bested that, though. This Reserve Old Vine bottling from Stellenbosch. A lovely bouquet of apricot, white peach fruit to the nose, some honey character, chalk-like minerality, a nice mix of fruit and mineral in this wine, and that honey note on the bouquet coming out even more the second day. Smooth and creamy on the tongue. This wine also gained complexity as it opened up on the second day. That lovely honey character coming through, that lovely, rich, smooth, creamy texture, ripe fruit, really long, complex finish, excellent juice. The Chardonnay, not my favorite thing, you know, maybe they make so much great Chardonnay all over the world. This one, some oaky notes to that tree fruit, apple and pear, some caramel and vanilla notes there. A nicely balanced wine, but not nearly as interesting for me as the Chenin Blanc, which was almost half the price, and the Sauvignon Blanc, which was less than half of the price. Anyways, the Bartini wines, still very good. The Kanonka Pinotage could turn me into a Pinotage believer. Not really. It didn't have quite as much of that banana and burnt rubber. And actually, on the second day, didn't notice it at all right when I opened it. It kind of blew off, though. Some nice light fruit and really very easy drinking Pinotage, which is a cross between Carignan or Cinsault and Pinot Noir. Some mad scientist created this varietal, and the South Africans have hung their hat on it. It had a little bit of that bitterness that they have, but still a rather pleasant Pinotage, and you won't hear me say that very often. All right, Rat's Cabernet Franc. This one had a really strong green pepper note to the nose. Some nice dark cherry and plum fruit goes well. Some cigar box spice. A good amount of that peppery spice on the tongue as well, and showing through even on the second day. But this wine opened up not quite as tannic on the second day, and obviously with the food, it was probably a little better. The Bartini Cabernet Sauvignon. This wine also, one of the telltale signs of South African Cabernets is you have this peppery note to them, the cigar box spice, really classic, almost Bordeaux-like in style, and this wine had all of that, and had some nice dark currant berry fruit and some bitter cocoa showing also. Very good wine. But the whites really exceeded the reds. And then the last wine, the Glen Elly Shiraz Cabernet Merlot Petit Verdot, Bordeaux-style blend with a little Syrah thrown in there. Man, this was the wine of the night. Really Bordeaux-like bouquet, coffee, cigar box spice, along with that fresh, earthy, loamy note, cassis, and dark currant berry fruit. Really nice complexity showing off in this wine. And we had one corked bottle. Luckily, the second bottle was really good, and something I always like to bring with me to a tasting is a corked wine. A lot of people don't realize what a corked bottle is. You know, they've tasted corked wines and they just think, well, this bottle is not good, but it's something that happens to 3 to 5% of all cork finish wines. Something goes wrong when the bleaching process with the cork, they will mold in it, and it's trichloroanisole, which smells like green, kind of moldy bread. But this wine just had a little bit of it in it, but the second bottle, excellent, and $22. This is my pick for the best red wine of the tasting. That's what we had to drink with our folks from Cape Classics at our South African tasting at Cafe Maxx. I'm your host, Andrew Lampisoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.